To gain greater control over the HTML and CSS that is exported from InDesign to the ePub file, you can adjust the export tag mapping. This allows you to assign both tags and classes to different elements in an InDesign layout. Let me show you how this works. I'm beginning this video with the exporttagging.indd file already open on my computer, and I've navigated to page 8 of my document. Now, what I want to point out is you want to make sure that you've utilized paragraph and character styles inside of your document, because that helps InDesign to control the appearance of elements as it's exported to an ePub. Now, once you've created these paragraph styles, you have even greater control of how that code is exported. What I'm going to do is I'm going to click inside of this text that says Journey to Banyan Cliffs. I'll go ahead and zoom in so we can see this a little bit better. And we can see that we have the subhead A paragraph style applied to it. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to right-click on subhead A and choose Edit Subhead A. And you'll notice there's a category at the very bottom called Export Tagging. I'm going to go ahead and click on this. Now, we can see that right now, this content is being exported using an automatically generated tag and class. So you can see right now the tag is P and the class is subhead A. Well, if you know anything about web design, you would know that it helps to properly structure your content. When everything is tagged as a P tag, they all have essentially the same value or the same level of importance. In a case like this, I'd probably want to make this a heading tag. So we can see in the export details, this is what the tag and the class is going to look like when it's exported. But what we can do is we can click on the tag drop-down menu, and we can choose one from this list. So I'm going to make this an H2. You'll notice now the tag associated to this is an H2. It still has a class of subhead A. Now, we can, if we want, assign a custom class to this. So in this case, what we might want to do is I'll just type in something else right now. And you'll see that when I tab out of there, the class is now updated. Now, it's probably not going to help me too much if I change that. So I'll go ahead and leave that as the default. And then we can go ahead and click OK. Now, in addition to being able to adjust this in the paragraph styles, we can also do this in the character styles as well. So for example, if I had a character style, I'm going to create a new one here. If I Option or Alt click on the Create New Style button, I'm going to create a character style called Bold. Go ahead and click OK. And now that we have Bold created, we can go ahead and edit that character style. And you'll notice in the export tagging, we have the same options. Now in this case, we'd probably want to map this to like a strong tag. And that will more appropriately tag our XHTML content when it's generated out of InDesign. So we'll go ahead and click OK. And now one other place where you're going to see this tag mapping is in the Object Styles panel. So for example, you have the float left and float right. We can right-click on one of these styles. Now we need to actually be clicked on one of these objects. We'll switch to our selection tool. And I'm just going to make sure that I have that tool selected. And I'm going to right-click on float left and choose Edit Float Left. And once again, here you have your export tagging. And this is a new feature in the latest version of InDesign. Previously, we didn't have this option in our object style options. But you'll notice here we can change our tag. We can assign a div to it if we want to, or a span. So I might want to assign a div to it and give it a class of float left. So you can customize the content that you're exporting here. Now go ahead and click OK. What you can also do in all of these categories is we can click on the panel menu, and I can choose Edit All Export Tags. And this allows me to, instead of manually editing each one of these individually, I can look at all of my styles, whether they be paragraph, character, or object styles, and I can map them right in here to the appropriate tag, to the appropriate class. I can also choose, in the case of like a header or a subhead, I can have the ePub split at that point in the document. And that would, in a sense, create a new navigational entry for each one of these items. So I'll go ahead and click OK here. And as you can see, using the export tag mapping, you can fine-tune your ePub content to help you to adjust the final appearance of your ePub file.